Hey everybody, Deanna with toolsofenergyprotection.com. Sorry, a little technical difficulty, so I'm going to jump back on and do Venus Retrograde Home Stretch Part 2, and hopefully we'll get this finished. Thanks for hanging with me. For those of you that have come back, sorry again, little technical difficulty. Nothing like a Venus Retrograde technical difficulty. So to be more succinct, welcome back Christy, Tracy, Susan, yay! Okay. So what's happening is we're in this last little stretch of Venus retrograde. And so the bottom line for this time, what we're being asked to do is we're being asked to look at our emotional state, where we are right now. Hi, Anna, welcome back. Where are we? So again, from January, February last year to now, we've been working through different degrees, if you will, of our personal selves. When we were asked to look at our relationship to others, like we stood in the center of a hub and we looked around at everybody that was near us, and then individuals and our shadow selves. And we've been doing this since about January, February. And quite honestly, I do feel like a car that's about out of gas. I'm like, can we be done with this already? I'm tired. And it keeps coming back around. So Venus retrograde, what that did was took everything we learned at the beginning of the year and shifted the frequency so that we're having everything that we've learned come back during Venus retrograde to look at our shadow selves, to look at the darker sides, to look at the things that hurt us that we haven't worked through because of beliefs, perceptions, or judgments. And those things got put in Venus retrograde. So this is like a pop quiz, or what do they call that? A post test. And so we have this last little bit of time before Venus retrograde ends to get our emotional selves in order and decide what we're going to keep and what we're not going to keep. If I'm not mistaken, whatever we choose will be kind of like our coursework or our job in the next 10 years. So we are setting ourselves up emotionally for the next 10 years. And like you've heard me say, can we change? Yeah, we can change. Anytime we want. You know, God tells us we have free will choice. We can change anytime we want. It's just right now is easier than any other time later on, you know, for about the next 18 years. So you might as well take advantage of it. If the energies are here to support and change while you're changing to support you, then get on it. Okay? If you haven't already, look at the things that you don't like about yourself that you'd like to change. And that could be something as simple, like my inner circle and I were talking about earlier tonight, as changing your diet or working out. So quite frankly, you can think about these things all day long. You can think, oh, I'm going to go exercise. Oh, I'm going to do it next week. Oh, I'm going to do it. And you don't do it. Why not? Because you don't have any clear-cut goals and you don't have a regular behavioral pattern. So all of these changes with Venus retrograde, as in life, are asking us to have a pattern, to create a new pattern in our lives and release ourselves from the beliefs, perceptions, and judgments that have kept us hung up. And I was going to bring a rubber band on tonight, but I didn't quite grab one. But if you imagine holding a rubber band and somebody pulling it way back, and you're trying to go forward and the tension keeps snapping you back, and the same old behavioral patterns, you got to cut that rubber band so you can go forward. This is the time. And if you're struggling with this in any way, shape, manner, or form, go to my website, toolsofenergyprotection.com, click on live events or personal sessions, and I will help you to find out what's there that you haven't been able to cut on your own. Of course, you'll have to make the change by yourself, but I'll give you some gentle, loving advice on how to walk forward, but you have to be willing to take it. And sometimes those beliefs, perceptions, and judgments have set forth energy patterns that keep us held back. Those things I can clear by shifting the frequency through the power of God's Spirit or Source. And once those are changed, it'll make it way easier for you to go forward. So just think about this. You have a session with me. I shift the vibrational frequency to make it easier for you to walk forward. God's Spirit or Source has already provided you for the last little bit, or with the last little bit of Venus retrograde, which is energy to support you to change. and shift and evaluate. And then, because he knows that a lot of times we're right there poised and we have all the support we need and the energies have been cleared, but we still can't seem to do it. So he's given us one additional bonus, one additional push to help move us in the right direction. And that is the new moon, which happens on November 7th, which is tomorrow. And that, the new moon is like pouring new energy down into the situation you've been in. So Venus retrograde asks you to look at the shadow self, take the things off that were causing you to stuff things down, face them, embrace them, and now here's this new, beautiful, divine, loving energy coming in, pouring in new, fresh energy for us to create with. What a beautiful, divine gift. Absolutely beautiful. So, as most of you know, I usually will spend 1 hour with you. And if you're new to this and you're like, yeah, I just want to try half an hour, fine. Call for Heaven's Sakes books. I'm going to be there this Thursday and Friday doing energy clearings. And now is the time. And I'd also like to say a big thank you to a couple of folks who came out to see me at the event I was at last week at the fair in Loveland, Colorado. A couple of you that I'd never met before were so beautiful and came up and gave me a hug and told me that they had seen me on Facebook Live every week and they were so excited to meet me in person. And I was excited to see you too. So a little plug for both of you. You know who you are. Thank you so much for coming out. All right, back to Venus retrograde. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the feed. I'm going to wrap it up here in just a few minutes. And get on. And so if you have joined me again for part 2, I'm sorry you had technical difficulty with part 1. So I'll try to link those 2 together on YouTube. Hopefully you can find them together. But again, that's what we're being asked to do in this little bit of Venus retrograde going forward, is to make major shifts, make major changes in our lives, because we hopefully have released a lot of emotional energy that was holding us back and realized that it was our own beliefs, our own perceptions, and our own judgments that were holding us back, and it's really silly. Time to get rid of it. And also knowing that your brain has to establish a new pattern to get rid of the old stuff. So it's taking steps to do that. Write things out if you need to. Put them on a calendar. Put them on a sticky. Take the dry erase markers. I've been in my bathroom on my mirror. I've been writing with the dry erase markers things for me to say every morning to get myself oriented in the direction I'd like to go. Let me look at a couple of other notes. Again, if you have any questions, put them in the feed if you're live on Facebook Live. And I'm going to look up a couple of other notes that I had. I want to make sure I got to everything. Okay, so also there are a couple other things. What's come up with clients this week, and also I've been talking to the boss about this. There are going to be surprise energies, circumstances, people, things that pop in your life, if they haven't already, between now and the end of Venus retrograde, that have to do with relationships. So there's been relationships in our lives that haven't honored us for quite some time, and since we've taken care of what was down in here, or maybe most of it, you're going to find that those relationships will massively shift in your life, massively. I'm not saying you're going to break up. I'm not going to say you're staying together, but the relationship itself will change, and mostly that's because you've changed what's in here. That's actually psychology. But with this retrograde, it's even more so because you've renewed this person inside. You're aware. I had a couple of people, no, I think it was one person texted me. Texted me and said, hey, in this relationship with this other person, they don't match me spiritually, and I'm moving in this direction, and they're staying stagnant. What do I do? Well, in the space of wisdom and love, I can't really tell you what to do because that's your journey and their journey. But what I can tell you is if you're not an energetic match and you're moving away from each other, it's either time to draw a bridge where you can relate to each other during this time of transition, or perhaps it's time to make other choices. All right, let me see if there's any questions in the feed. Hi, Judy. Thanks for joining. So that is one thing that is coming up. Then the other thing is the next cycle that's going to happen for us after Venus retrograde will last for about 18 months. And emotionally dealing with your current situation, changing the gears, even when it's bumpy, and keeping going forward and finding the beauty in the life you have right now. And that can be challenging. Even for me, I've got some challenges in my life right now that I know I don't even know what to do with them. And they're not going away. I would love to just have them, address them and get them done. But like I was teasing someone else earlier today, hi, Jennifer, it's like having bills. And in the old days, we used to pay the bills with a checkbook. So every month you'd have to sit down and tear the little things off of your bill and write the check out and put them in an envelope and send them away and get them there on time. But whether you're doing it that or electronic, bills come every month. And it would be nice if we just paid them and they were done. Wouldn't that be great? But we pay them every month. And that's the same way with what is going on in the here and the now with some of these challenges. They come, some of them come every day, some of them come every week, some of them come every month, and it's the same thing over and over and over and over again. And it's one of the things retrograde asks us to do is pick which ones you're going to solve and which ones over and over again. And the things that are happening over and over again, I would highly recommend that you find another way to do them. So if you're gaining weight and you keep gaining weight or you keep not losing weight, the opposite is to change your diet and get the exercise. That's your choices. And I know this is very simplistic because this is happening more emotionally for a lot of people. But the choices are very plain, but changing is challenging. Because our neuro net is like, nope, do the same thing over and over. That's safe. Do the same thing over and over. That's safe, even when it's not the desired outcome. So this last bit of Venus retrograde and the beautiful new moon that's coming in is telling us to shift and go forward. Pick one and stick to it. And have some self-discipline, people. Self-discipline. It's a wonderful thing. And it can be challenging, but set yourself up the best you can. Get sticky notes. Put them out there. Make a calendar, put it out there. If you don't like calendars, get a spiral. Write things you need to do, check them off. Get a whiteboard. But get it together. Get up off your butt and do something. And quit sitting there churning in the same old energy going, oh, I can't do this. I can't do this. I'm so afraid. I can't. Baloney. You got yourself into that routine. You can get yourself out. And if you can't, I suggest you pick up the phone and call a buddy or text a buddy and have them help you. Get some support. It takes a village. And right now is village time if you can't do it on your own. I do love each and every one of you, and I'll give you big hugs, and I will let you know that you're not in this alone. Hi, Cherie. Because I have challenges, believe it or not, in my own life. I love those of you that think I walk on water and have a divine life. Yes, I am blessed. And yes, I am spiritually gifted. And yes, I love my job. But I still have to be in a human body, in human circumstances, learning just as you do. And I do the best I can. Sometimes it's not good enough. Sometimes it is. Depends on the perspective. But I'm asking you to join me in taking a walk forward and using the last few days of Venus retrograde where this beautiful new moon energy is pouring in and shifting the frequency of the planet once again to spring us forward from this dark shadow self into this beautiful, changed, transformationally changed person. If you still need help, if you live in Denver, Colorado, I'll be at the For Heaven's Sakes bookstore. If you go to toolsofenergyprotection.com and click on my website, go to live events or personal appointments, you can book a time. If you're not in Denver, then get on my schedule for Thursday. If you're in Denver, Thursday or Friday. I'm not going to be doing phone appointments on Friday, just on Thursday. And if you are in Denver location, I am also going to be doing something new. I've never done this before. I don't know if I'm going to do it again. But on Saturday at 7 o'clock, I think it's 7 to 9, and again, you go to my website and click on events, and you find the link to that event. I'm going to do a class, a couple-hour class called Let's Get Stoned. All right, those of you who know I live in Colorado, that's not what I'm talking about. It is a class about stones, because stones have a frequency. They have a tune or a tone or a frequency. And once we introduce that into our energy field, it shifts our energy. And I used to think that stuff was hooey and nuts until I experienced it myself. And I found that, when you have a desire to be healthier, do you take vitamin B or vitamin C, or there are nutrients or minerals that you take internally? And it changes your frequency. The same can be said about stones. They can put in your pocket or wear. They will also change your frequency. And so that's the class that I'm going to be teaching. And I'm actually going to do an active one. You can't take that one online because you have to be with me in person. And we will see what stones are drawn to you to shift your energy field for whatever your needs are right at that moment. All right, let's see if I have any more questions. Let's see here. Okay, it doesn't look like I have questions. I do have people laughing, so that's cool. And I'm so glad. We do have enough to be concerned about in this world, and we do have enough things to stress out over, so it's always good to laugh. And again, thank you for joining me for part 2. Sorry I had technical difficulties. I'm having more technical difficulties tonight. But I wish you a wonderful night. And please share this video or both with friends if you know that they have that feeling like they don't know what's going on and they're lost. There's so many lost people right now. And God's Spirit Source has asked me to raise my awareness as much as I can to help as many people as I can and get them headed in the right direction. And I have some new beautiful students who are studying under me, and they will soon be able to go out and help even more people, and it just echoes after that. So I don't see any more questions. I will check one more time because I know there's a little bit of lag on here. Oh, hi, Nikki. Hi, Kelly. And thank you, Ed, about having a good night. If you need me, call me. toolsofenergyprotection.com. There's lots of different ways to get a hold of me, and I will help you as soon as I can. Big hugs, big kisses. Get your butt in gear. Have a good night.